This is going to be our second take on protocols. We're going to be looking at a more complicated example this time involving a single view application. And so let's start by opening up Xcode, and we'll click create a new Xcode project, single view application. Let's click next, and we're going to call this one protocols callback, and make sure automatic reference counting is selected. Let's click next. We'll just create it on the desktop here. What we want to start with is we're going to start by creating our protocol. Control click, new file. Let's select Objective-C protocol and click next. And we're going to call this one process done protocol. We're going to be simulating a long-running process which has to call back to change something in the main form. Okay, so let's click next. Just create it in the main, and we've got our process done protocol. Excellent. Okay, pretty much all we want to do in here is we want to add one single method, and this one will be process completed. We could have this method return something. We could have this method take parameters. However, this is all we really need it to do. And so in this case, we're just calling back to say that something's done, and then something will happen. Okay, so now we have to implement it in a new class. So let's add a new class here, new file, Objective-C class, click next. I'm just going to call this one do something, and just click next, and we'll create. Want to be in our .h file here, and we want to add the protocol. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to import the new protocol, process done protocol. There we go. A little space. And now what we want to do is we want to add the protocol to this class. So we're going to say process done protocol. Okay, and we're going to add a delegate. And so at property, make it weak so it doesn't hold on, cause a retain cycle, ID delegate. Okay, and now let's add our first process that we start running that will come back and call the other one. So we'll make this one void start process. Save this, and now we'll go to do something. Now, first thing we have to do is we have to synthesize this new property, delegate, and we've got to add two methods here. We've got to have the process completed, and we have to have start process. Now, the important thing here in process completed is we're going to call our delegates process completed. And so we'll be implementing this on the view controller itself. So we want self delegate. So that'll get whichever user of this class, and then we can call their function to pass a message back, their selector. Okay, so now we want void start process. Okay, and what we're going to use in here is we're going to use a timer. So we're going to use ns timer, which we haven't used before. We use scheduled timer with time interval. We want the specific one with the target, so this one. We'll give it a time interval of about 2 seconds. We'll give it a target of self, and we're going to give it a selector of at selector process completed. We're going to give it no user information, no dictionary, and we're going to set it not to repeat in this case. There we go. Save this. That should be good. And now we want to actually use this. So let's go into the view controller.h. Start by importing do something, and let's add the protocol. So we need process done protocol, and now we have to add an object of the type do something, and we'll just call it my process. Now we're going to add a new IB action here. Let's go into the nib file here, and we're going to start by adding a button. And let's just call it Color Me. But Color Me is the text. Let's select on the assistant editor there, and we're going to do a control click, drag it just underneath the brackets, and we'll add Color Me as an action. Make sure you change from outlet to action. There we go. Good. That should be all we need to do. Let's click connect. And now we've got the new method in there. Save this and save the .h file. And now we'll go into the .m file here. Okay, so it's telling us we're missing something because we haven't fully implemented the process done protocol. So let's add that method here. So we have to add void process completed. So in the Color Me, what we want to do is, this is what's called when we press the button. So we're going to test to make sure that we haven't already set my process. Okay, so if it's not initialized, we'll go into here and we will initialize my process, and we'll set it to do something, alloc. Then we'll initialize it, init, there we go, and my process dot delegate, very important, we set this to self. Make sure we put a semicolon there. Now that we do have my process, what we're going to do is we're going to start the process. Now when the process is completed, we want to do something different. Now I'm going to make this so that we do a random color. And if you do a quick search on the internet, you'll find similar code to this, to set random colors. And CG float red. Okay, so we're using a random function and we're dividing by the max. That'll give a value between 0 and 1. CG float and rand max. There we go. Now I'm going to shorten this by copying this. And I'll change the name to blue and then green. Okay, giving us the warning because we haven't used them yet. Now we'll make the random color equal to UI color, color with red. That's the one we want. We'll set this to red, green to green, blue to blue, and alpha to 1.0. That'll be good. So now we have a random color. Now let's set the background to self.view.background color. There we go. Okay, so what we're doing is we are starting a new process on the button click. It will use the other class, an object of the other class, to create this timer, which will last for 2 seconds, and then it will call back and run process completed. Okay, so let's see how this works. Let's run. Compiling, good. Build succeeded. There we go. Color Me. Excellent. Let's try this out. Click it once. Changes color. Let's click it twice. Changes twice. And then you could just do breaks between and do however many times you want. So you see it changes color. Always 2 seconds after the click. Okay, so there's no waiting. It's not, it's run as an extra thread, and so that's great. What we've done here is we've shown how you can use a class to run an extra process on the side and do a callback to the main view controller to do a change to the UI. So we could do a process, return text, return objects, return arrays, whatever we want. We can send it information when we want to do that. So we could be running a web service, we could be running database activities, we could be doing all sorts of things. So we've covered protocols in the first one, very simple example, and this one a little bit more in depth. Thanks for watching.